So hey guys, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about iRacing and Logitech ARX. It's something that was added several builds ago. That David Tucker has been the spearhead of it, I guess, and it allows you to have information from the sim displayed onto a tablet. But the cool thing about it is it's very customizable. You can customize it to put anything that you want on it, but it does take a little bit of programming skills, HTML or HTML and JavaScript. Um, so if we have a lot of web designers in our community, so I thought I'd introduce this because it never has really taken a whole lot of traction, and just a few people that I know of have even used it. So I wanted to kind of try to introduce it, uh, spread the word about it, I guess, and maybe spark some interest in other developers out there using this for different things. The first piece of software that we're going to need is a software called Logitech Gaming Software. It's going to install on your PC, and you may already have it because it may come with your Logitech wheel or some of your other Logitech devices. Uh, but you may have to install it. I'm not sure. I'm running Thrustmaster, so it's a little different. I'll put it as the link in the description of the YouTube video to get to it. But you'll need to download it. You'll need to select your version, which is probably going to be 64-bit. Not even sure if it works with 32-bit, but you'll need to download that, install it to your PC. This will be the server piece that will actually communicate from your PC over to your tablet, and so it runs all the time in the background. Next piece you're going to need is the app from the App Store. Um, you either go to Google Play or the App Store on Apple, iTunes, I guess it's called, and look for Logitech ARX Control. You can probably just search for Logitech ARX, that'll pull it up. Free app. You just download it and install it to your mobile device. Next, you'll find a lot of information about ARX in the iRacing forums. Basically, under iRacing APIs and development discussions, ARX development. Um, you'll see it here. There is an older one. This was like the very first version. Still might have some information that you need. It also has a link for the where to get the software. Um, but this is the latest and greatest. This link's probably better. This is the latest and greatest information about ARX. So I encourage you to look at this forum, and I'll show you how to do the download some of David's demos later on. Okay, in the forums you'll find in this ARX development thread here, you'll find that David's put some demos out here. What you want to do is you want to download those, and that'll give you the source code to his demos. And basically this is the folders, and let me open up the ARX folder. You'll notice in this ARX folder, basically it's the same thing. His chart demo, FBox demo, all these are already there. So what you want to do is unzip this to your My Documents folder, iRacing, and then, like I said, if you don't have an ARX folder, create it. I don't know if it's case sensitive. I just made mine ARX. I don't believe it is. But just copy those folders over there, and that will make those different demos show up in the drop down box inside the simulator. So the first thing I want to show you is a couple examples that David Tucker's provided of ARX that come along with a sim. You can find these under options in the sim. Go to options here in ARX mode. You have a couple of things. You can enable Logitech ARX, allow ARX to steer, and then you can select which display or app you want to use. So for this example, we're just going to show you the AR HUD. It's kind of like a quick little dashboard. It's got not everything on the dash, but just an example that David's provided. So there we have it. It shows RPMs and what gear you're in. So we'll take a little lap. I'm at the skid pad, so it's not like I'm at a real track or anything. There will be a little lag in the video just because of the way I'm having to record this. I'm kind of going around the world and back to do the recording, but you'll notice when I change gears, it's going to change gears on the app, and it's showing you the RPMs and speed over here. So it's pretty neat. Also has the rev lights. See if I can make a shift lights, so you'll notice those go up and down when you need to. So it's a pretty neat little example to start with. You may notice, like I said, the speed may be off because of the way I'm having to record this, so it won't match perfectly, but when it's on your local network, it shows up real well. Alright, the next one is I want to show you. He has a little chart demo. This one I don't think comes with the sim. It is I think one he added in later, and we'll show you how to download them later on and how to install them. But it's basically showing your brake and throttle inputs. You'll see up here at the top your speed. And I'm not a great driver, but again, just showing you different things. You notice the red line will go up when you're hitting the brakes, and steering angle, chassis roll. It's pretty neat little information there, and it shows you some of the power of ARX. Go back out. He has an F-box demo, which is supposed to be like the F1, F2, F3 box. And not a lot of information going to show up while I'm in test mode, but if you're in a race, it would show up. It's not as clean, I don't think, as the F-boxes in the sim, but it's just another demo that could show you what you could do. But the neat thing is the relative is fairly accurate, I believe, with the sim. I don't use this one very much, but he has an example, so if somebody wanted to write a nice clean version of it, it'd be a good place to start. There's also a force feedback demo. This one doesn't exactly work real well on my Kindle. I'm not sure why. The graphs don't show up exactly right, but they do show up pretty good on my iPhone and on my Galaxy tablet. But you'll see it's showing me my torque and my angle, and there's supposed to be some graphs that show up here. That's what I'm saying. It don't work right with my Kindle for some reason, and I don't know why. But anyway, so that's another neat example that he's given. The last one is the Hula Girl. Again, another example of showing you what can be done. You'll see that as I turn, the Hula Girl will shift. If I turn back the other way, they shift that way. So imagine you have that mounted on your dash, I guess, and you can watch her dance. Last one I'm going to show you is IR drive, is what it's called. And you notice that you could actually drive the car with your joystick. I'm doing it with a mouse here, so I don't have two fingers, but let's say you had an iPad, you could actually drive the car with an iPad. Uh, it's it's pretty neat that that you could drive with this. When you think about it, you know, iRacing had iRacing Mobile. It came out a few years ago. This is close, so it's pretty interesting that you could actually do this. So the next thing I'm going to show you is a demo, another demo that David put out. It's called Program Demo, and basically it shows you all the stuff that is kind of available in ARX. It's got the tilt and drive thing built into it here. But all your session string information, everything you want to know about that session. It shows you what the variable names are, everything that you might want to try to retrieve out of the sim, and just go grab it. Here's the live data. So everything is available in the SDK is available in ARX. So that's the program demo. I mean, the values will change as you're driving and everything, but I'm just going to show you that that's available because sometimes I misspell things, and that's a good way to come find how it's spelled, what it looks like, what kind of number it is, like air density is kilograms per meter, I guess. You know, things, the air temps in Celsius, not Fahrenheit, so you have to convert some of these things. So it's good to be able to come see the values and all the list of variables that are here. Okay, the last one I'm going to show you here is the one that what got me interested in it, and I call it a pitboard. I don't know if that's really a good name for it or not. But basically I was wanting something that kind of showed me some pitting information, like you know, how many laps to go to I need to pit, when my last stop was, how many stops was going to be needed in the race, how much fuel's left, and how much fuel I'm burning per lap. It's that's what it started out with, and I was running it on an iPhone, and then I started wanting more information. Plus, the fonts were too small on a small iPhone. I didn't have the Plus at the time. Now I got an iPhone Plus 6, which still not big enough to put all the information on. But so I wanted to see that kind of information. So I decided to do that, and basically the fuel mileage starts calculating after the first lap. There might be some better ways of calculating fuel mileage. I just, that's the way I knew how to do it. So, I just wanted a way to, you know, see how much fuel, when my next stop was going to be. And here at Oxford, you can get a lot of fuel mileage, but the longer you run, the more accurate it gets. It takes the last 5 laps and averages out the fuel usage. And there might be, like I said, might be better ways of doing it. I'm trying to calculate it every 25% of the track, so 25, 50, 75, and 100%. I'm re-updating the numbers at the top. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to do is get some information about my pit stops. You know, average stops, how many laps I ran, tire wear, tire temps, things like that. So after I leave pit road, we'll go up here to the summary, and it shows I ran 9 laps. My pit road time was 46 seconds. That's from the time I entered pit road until iRacing detected I entered pit road at the time I left. Pit stop time, that's not going to match what shows up on your screen. That's the moment that you enter your pit box and the moment you leave. And then the average lap time for that run that I just had. Notice I had 9 laps for that one run, and it updates this table every time I pit. And then it'll have the tire info, which here at Oxford you won't have very much tire wear, but it shows you 10 number of laps. That was the lap you pitted on, and that'll show you your temps and your wear. But again, here at Oxford you don't have very much. You'll notice here, I'll explain this a little bit. iRacing sends decimals, I think, and I'm rounding up a little bit or something. There's a little bit off in the telemetry, but you'll see the temps are close. But the telemetry sometimes give you a little different number than what the sim may give you. Now I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's due to rounding. I'm not sure. One other thing I wanted to know and was about the weather. Dynamic weather is on a lot of the open series now, so it's plays a big part in your setups and how you're driving at times. I'm running default weather here, I believe, but you'll notice this that the car, this is the direction it's pointed in. It's going towards the east, but the wind's coming from the north to the south, so it's blowing across the car right now. Or as we go around the track, it's blowing from the rear end. I've had this done several different ways. I had the car spinning around, and it just kind of looked silly doing that, but so I decided to spin the compass and spin the wind direction around. And if it's variable wind, it will start changing directions. The wind indicator will go different directions, and so that kind of gives you a quick weather report. But it really at super speedways and maybe some other tracks, but wind can play a big part and make you tight or loose going into the corner. The last thing, this is the latest addition I've added to it, is pit service. It's kind of like a pit box on your iPad. What you can do is click it, and it will say don't change those tires. It'll turn to red. If I only want right sides, no fuel, no tear off, it'll do those things for you. Now let me point this out at the top of the screen. You'll notice it puts everything twice. That is a bug with the Android app. I don't know why. I've tried to talk to Logitech and I can't get anyone to return an email, but there is a bug that duplicates everything you send, and I talked to David about it as well, so I don't have a fix for it. It's just the way it is, and unfortunately. And so it makes it some things makes it unusual, but you notice you click fuel, it's going to check the box for you. You check the tires, it's going to uncheck those for you in the sim. I've thought about trying to add a way to take air out and things like that, but I hadn't went that far with it yet. So that's my example of my app, maybe to give you guys some ideas on something that you might like to do. So now that I've kind of shown you some of the things that are you're able to do with ARX and iRacing, it's going to show you a little bit of the code behind it. It's HTML and JavaScript basically, and anything that you can kind of dream up in JavaScript, you can probably dream up in ARX as well. What I first did was took David's IR hood and gutted it, I guess is the easiest way of putting it. So I'm doing up a little example. I took his and gutted it again, and just wanted to show you how simple and easy doing the development for this would be. I'm not going to go over all the code. because there's a lot of stuff about JavaScript on the internet. I'm not a JavaScript programmer. I'm more of a database guy, and I've done some Java programming. I've done some .NET, but my my expertise is in database and some mid-range computers, stuff that most people have never heard of. So, but I understand programming, so I decided I'd take a look at it. And some of this is all David stuff, but let me show you a couple things about the code. So, first thing I'll show you is kind of what we're going to be building here. Basically, I'm just going to show the RPM, the speed, and I put a button here for like our button box. I just wanted to kind of show a couple of different things that you could do, but you know, you're going to have to get creative on your own to build what you really want to build. So, like I said, I took David's our hood example and just gutted it and did this. So, the biggest thing is most of your code is going to go in either like the function handle data update, and you could call your own function. You can create any functions you want, but I just stuck all the code right here. Remember earlier I showed you that program demo that David provided, and I was telling you about the variable names. Well, this right here is what goes and grabs the variable names. So display units is trying to determine whether you're using English units to measure, mile per hour, KPM, versus metric. So he's going to get into display units. And then so I wanted the RPM and I wanted the speed. That's my two variables that I went and got. And so that's what they're called in the SDK. So it just goes and grabs those values. And then this line right here says to insert that value into my HTML. Insert that value. Then it's converting it to the right unit of measures here, mile per hour, KPM, and inserting it into the HTML. That's basically all it is to it. Now for my button, I have a little some routines that I found on the internet to register the mouse handler, to kind of keep up with where you're tapping on the screen. It's just a function that's down here that listens for you touching the screen and doing something to it. So again, all this stuff you can Google so much stuff on JavaScript. And then I had so for my button, I have a little thing. It's going to send a chat message to move out of my way. HTML is pretty simple. I have a little style sheet that I'll attach for this demo that I created. That just I like the fonts to be a certain way and like the size to be a certain way. So it's got a style sheet with it, and here's my button. So I got my buttons defined in my style sheet. You don't have to have a style sheet. It just makes the code a little cleaner, simpler. And again, I don't know a lot of HTML, so I may be doing it all wrong. Don't know a lot of JavaScript either, so you may see stuff in here that you're like, why did he do that? Especially in my other app, because I've never written anything in JavaScript in my other app, and I've learned things, and it really needs to be cleaned up. But you know, trying to go back and clean up your code is sometimes not the funnest thing in the world to do, to try to reinvent it again. So you saw where it was inserting the HTML, the RPMs into the HTML up here. Well, basically, it's throwing the RPM into where these two question marks are and displaying it on the screen. Let's go back to the sim for a minute, and we'll take a look at that. So here we are. We got this ARX demo that I just created. I'll put it in test. You notice the RPM, the speed, and I'm going to send my move over message. Again, there's a problem with the Android app. I don't know what it is, but it sends everything twice. Um, it doesn't do it on the Apple iPad, but it does it in the Android. And I've tried talking to Logitech, but I can't get a answer from anybody there. So if you got a contact for Logitech, let me know, and I'll try to be nice to be able to get their app fixed. But you can see it's mile per hour, RPM, displaying on your tablet. It's pretty neat. Not a lot of code, not real hard to do. Don't have to worry about anything. So a lot of the heavy lifting's already been done for you. So one last thing I wanted to show you is the debug of Logitech ARX. Sometimes you need to be able to see information because you may have an error in your program, and so you want to go to the developer tab and launch ARX console. Let me drag it over here. You'll notice that iRacing is connected here. That shows how it's connected, and this allows, so inside of our program, for example, we could put a console log into our program if we needed to do some debugging. So we could always add a console.log here. And have it right to the console. The problem with this is every time the sim updated, which is 20 times a second, it's going to write something. It's going to write this out to our console log, and sooner or later you're going to run out of memory because it's going to write so often because it updates 20 times a second. So you don't really want to put it there, but if you can condition it to only output ever so often, like once a lap or something, that's fine. But you really don't want it to update too often, or you'll end up crashing the program more than likely. I've left some debug statements in some of my programs and just totally forgot that I did. So, but here's one thing that you can do. As you're running the sim, you can tell it console log and output whatever information you need. Let's do speed here. Let's see, we're going 0 miles an hour, but you see also iRacing gives you all the extra decimals. I know they round up on all this stuff, but or round to the nearest, but you can, you ever tied somebody on the last lap or something and they get the win and you did, there's actually some extra decimals out there that maybe that they're using that you didn't know that they were using. So, but that's one way that you can get information out of the sim and debug your program. Maybe you're thinking there's a value that shouldn't be right, especially when trying to calculate fuel mileage or something that you're doing. Maybe you only put it out at the end of the lap or ever so often, because like I said, if you put it in there into your program and do it, it'll fill up. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Again, this is not recommended to do this because it will crash the program after a while. So here's our app. I just added that console log to it. Every time you make a change, you have to reload it. Basically, just go to options, click it, and it'll reload itself. I'm going to put it in test, and you'll see it's filling up 300, 300, 300. I'll just clear it, and you'll see the different numbers putting itself out there and just writing them over and over and over again. So that's why I said you need to be careful when you're doing it, because it will sit there and write over and over and over again. Even when you're not running it, it will write it. So that's about all I'm going to have to say about doing that. I mean, there's, you got to let your mind go wild when looking at this stuff and come up with some examples of something you'd like to see. I would love to see more people develop. I would love to see a track map and show maybe a dot where all the cars are on my tablet. I just hadn't been able to figure that out yet. Don't know if I have the expertise to do that, but I'd love to see running one lap and then showing where all the cars are on that lap on the tablet. Be had it as another button on my app. Hope you seen how simple it could be. Maybe it sparked some interest. Again, love to see other people's ideas. One thing I will mention that David added in this last release is the replay cameras, which I think would be a neat idea for some broadcasters. You could add all the buttons to change cameras, fast forward, rewind, things like that. I don't know how well that would work. I know some things wouldn't work as well with IRTVO and some of the other ones, because I know when you trigger a replay it pops an image up for you and things like that. So, but you might could use it to change drivers and things like that. So that's another neat thing that he's added. Again, all the information for the forum is on the forum, and I'll put a link to the topic discussions about ARX down in the description here. And hopefully, guys, this, like I said, I'm just trying to spark some interest in letting people know that this is a little known feature, I guess, that iRacing has that nobody's really talked about, and just trying to get the word out. Hope you enjoyed it, and let me know. Got questions? Ricky Thompson on iRacing, and you can comment below.